Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Tortoise. It's the Tier 9 British tank destroyer. It's located on the east spawn of Malinovka encounter, and this one is under the command of marke12. Now he's rapidly working on his third mark at the moment. He's got two up already. He's using the top gun, the 120mm, and game's underway. Well, a lot of players play the Tortoise as a standard ordinary tank destroyer, shooting from a distance at the enemy. But it is really an assault tank destroyer, which means that you actually put yourself right in the face of the enemy and confront them and try and destroy them at close range. In fact, this vehicle was designed originally as a assault tank to destroy the Siegfried line. Yeah, I think he's having trouble with that Tiger P because he wouldn't let him get over to the east side of the hill on the approach. Yep, it's designed to destroy the Siegfried line. They actually started work on it in 1943 because they knew that they would need something to overcome the Siegfried line when they finally re-invaded Europe, or invaded Europe, because they had one chance already at Dieppe and it failed badly, but they learned a lot of lessons. And they realised they would need an assault tank destroyer to overcome the Siegfried line defences, and so they started work on the Tortoise, known as the A39. Now originally it was going to have a 32-pounder gun, and that is one of the stock guns in this on this line. But the 120mm gun is capable of 400 alpha, and it'll penetrate through 259mm of armour with standard rounds. With the premium rounds, it goes through even more. It'll go through 326, and you can see he's abusing that standard B, pumping the rounds into him. Now we've got a Tiger 1 ahead of us, no problem. Oh, didn't pen him on that one, but he bounced the round that came, the 88mm that came from the Tiger, and this is where he actually punishes a Patriot who's about to expire. There you go. Yeah, he's no match for this tank destroyer. Tiger, yeah, carved straight through the armour. Low roll there, but he's kept the guy in place, and he's going to keep him in place until that guy fixes his tracks, and then he'll keep him in place again. Oh, and he's gone, so he didn't need to do that. So that's one kill already, because he only got the kill on the Patriot. He didn't get the kill on the Tiger because that was taken down by somebody else. He's just bounced around from that standard B that he abused earlier, who's now down in the tree line. Now the armour is very thick, 273mm at the front, 152 at the sides, and 101 at the rear. So really the only place you can reliably penetrate a Tortoise is through its rear, but if you can get the side at the rear, then that will work as well. The only place you can penetrate it from the front is that cupola right on top, that big cupola, because that's the loader's cupola with the machine guns, and that can be penned if you use ammunition with enough penetration. Now, as he's the only one who appears to be going down the hill at this particular area, he's decided to pull back for the moment. The enemy still has quite substantial forces, and some of them are probably at the base of that hill waiting for him to attempt to come down, and then they'll put holes into his cupola and take him out the game that way. So at the moment he's not willing to go down because of course his teammates haven't really come to join him. Okay, the Skoda's T50's in position. He doesn't have much armour, but he does have a fast firing gun with an autoloader. And now his teammate to the right of him is the 50 TP, so he's got sufficient force now to go down and attack. He's waiting for them to join him as he goes down. Well, now everyone seems to be reluctant to make their way down the hill. I'm wondering if Marky's trying to encourage them to go down, and he'll sit behind and punch at the enemy. Not really a good move, because this is an assault tank destroyer. As I said, it's supposed to get into the enemy's face and hit them at close range. You can see the enemy is firing at this in this direction, just not hitting anyone yet. Yeah, and the Skoda's saying, go, let's go. Well, he's going to go down the drop, and he does. And he managed to get down okay. This is not like Marky to do this sort of thing. I think normally he's a lot more aggressive, because he needs the hit points in order to get the third mark. And that 50 TP just took a hit from the enemy tanks. But Marky is being very reluctant to engage. Now the enemy has come all the way around on the around the map, and in fact actually they've got behind us now, so they're near our spawn point, and with 3 tanks down on the enemy. And I cannot understand why Marky is not engaging. Skoda is engaging. You see, he's trying to get south as quickly as he can, and he's doing well, but Marky's not. This is totally unlike Marky to do this. It's almost like he doesn't want to fight. Well, they're down to just 4 tanks now, so it looks like this game is going to be a loss. So Marky needs to pull his finger out. You see the Skoda's getting involved. He's still trying to win the game, but now Marky's starting to get engaged. We've lost the Skoda. The enemy's lost their T-44. There's their standard B. And he's been wiped out. That was a blind kill. And the enemy's now capping. There's only 3 left on our team and 6 on the enemy team. This is not a good game. You can see all the rounds that have bounced off the front of the Tortoise. Nobody's penned him yet. Well, the embarrassing situation now is he's going back down the hill that he came up in the first place, and now he's got a 705 behind him, but he easily punches through the 705's armour with the 120mm, and he can get the kill shot. Yep, there you go. So he's got another kill. He's got 4 kills now. But the Udis did manage to penetrate him by pumping around through his side with that 105mm gun. Now he's going to have to go back and get a reset. And I'm not sure what the Samur is up to here. There's only 3 of them left on the team. The 50 TP staying up the other end. And he's gone. 704 got him. And it looks like the Samur is trying to use Marky as mobile armour. So Marky has to get to the cap, but he's got to run the gauntlet of all the enemy tanks that are blocking him. We know there's a Nudes down there near the spotting hill at F7. Well, he's been seen, and I suspect it was the Udis. Yes, it was. There it is. Well, he puts 1 into the Udis, and the Samur takes the kill immediately afterwards, with the kill steal. Now he's going to get spotted by the enemy Super Hellcat and their Object 704 very shortly. But he needs to get that reset. Even though there's still a minute to go, he might have to drive all the way over to the cap. And there's the Udis, the other Udis. Well, we can see the Black Princess in the cap. Oh, and he gets a reset. Not a bad one, that. That's a high roll. Didn't get the pen on that one. Now, if he crosses the lake, he's going to be vulnerable to the side every time he goes through. He managed to get a run through the cupola of the Black Prince. That's a very difficult shot. And the Black Prince has pulled out of the cap area. Now, it would be helpful if the Samur would actually go down the hill and try and get shots from a different angle. He managed to get a low roll through the front of the Black Prince, or through its side. And he's pulled out of the cap again. It looks like he's just reluctant to get into the cap, and the Black Prince is killed by the Samur. And here comes the Super Hellcat, and he's an easy kill because the Samur has more than one round. 5-shot autoloader. Now, only 2 enemies left, the Object 704 and the Nudes 03. They've managed to claw back their disadvantage. They were 2-1 down at one point, but now they're evens. And he's asking the Samur if he wants to go. It'd probably be best for the Samur to head south as quickly as he can, get round the far side, so he can then attack the 704 and the Udes from the houses over near the traditional spawn point, the standard battle spawn point. He's doing it, he's going there. In the meanwhile, he's gone up on top of the hill, trying to encourage the Udes and the 704 to attack him. No, the Samur's coming over this side. Not a good idea. That's not what we wanted. The Samur looks like he's going to go up on top of the hill, and instead Marky's going to go across, but that's not good for him because he will get shot in the side as he crosses. Yep, there's the Udes. So the Samur should have gone over to those houses. Instead, he's now trying to attack the 704, and he's got no armor, this Samur. Yeah, he's just taken a massive hit. He's a one-shot now, and he'll get easily killed by the 704 or the Udes. Probably the Udes. Yep, there's the 704. One shot into him. The Samur isn't dead yet, but he will be very shortly, I think. Yep, he's gone. The Udes got him. And now it's just Marky versus the 704 and the Udes, and this is not a good situation to be in. Even though he's pumping rounds into that 704, whittling away his health. And I think that 704 is now a goner. He'll take one more shot after this. Well, this shot will be the last one. And that's him. He's out of the game. So it's now Marky versus the Udes 03. Now, it didn't need to be like that. If Marky had actually, if the Samur had gone down to those buildings near the traditional spawn point, Marky could have gone up the top of the hill, show himself to the enemy to encourage them to fire, and then the Samur could have plastered them with shells at long range. But as it is now, I think it's a stalemate because neither the Udes nor Marky can actually go to the cap without getting holed by the opposition. Oh, now you see the Udes has actually done something unusual. He's actually gone around the cap, and he's actually now doing exactly to Marky what I hoped that the Samur would do to the enemy. Come up behind them or get round them and attack them from afar. This is not good. Well, we've still got 1 minute and 13 seconds left on the clock. But Marky cannot see the Udes. Of course, he can go into siege mode and make it very difficult for Marky to spot him. And we're now in the last minute of the game. Well, given that he's a one-shot, it now is very difficult for Marky because he'll probably just have to stay here and stop the Udes from going to the cap. And that's all about he can do. If the Udes does decide to attack Marky, Marky can then turn towards him and try and finish him off at close range. but I have the feeling this is definitely going to be a draw. He can't attack the UDES frontally because the UDES has got a very accurate 105mm gun. He'll just punch holes through that cupola and finish Marky off. 5 seconds. And that's it. Game's over. It's a draw. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for marke12 in the Tortoise. He managed to get a bruise in the middle for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 5, 1 short of getting a top gun and 1/3 of the enemy team. He also got a fire effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, and a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. He got a defender medal. He reset the cap. He shot the Black Prince whilst he was capping. Got at least 70 capture points or defense points in the process, as well as a steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game overall, over 1,000 hit points and at least 11 shots. Got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he got the Sanka sniper for doing the most damage at a distance of at least 300 meters, firing at least 8 shots, getting 85% accuracy. But sadly it was a draw because he wasn't able to take advantage of the fact that they managed to recover from 2-1 down to evens at the end, but unfortunately the Samur, I think, in the end let Marky down. Okay, let's have a look at team score. Well, it's good damage score for him, 7,847 hit points. The next high scorers being the UDES 16 with 4,119 and the UDES 03 with 4,670. So you can see it was a good game for those two as well. When it came to kills, it was actually shared between the Tortoise, the Samur, and the UDES 16. They all have 5 kills apiece. And when it came to base XP, it's Marky who's out in front because he got the high caliber, 1,117 to him. And the next high score was UDES 16 with 831, and after that, the UDES 03 with 651. Marky fired 29 rounds of 120mm ammunition. He got 26 direct hits on the enemy, so fairly good accuracy, 23 penetrations. Not all of his shots hit the mark. 1 splash as well, 7,847 hit points of damage, of which 2,215 were at more than 300 meters. He received 17 shots from the enemy, only 4 of which actually penetrated, but those 4 were well placed because they went through vulnerable spots on the side of the vehicle. And he also had 13 non-penetrations. Most of those hit the front of the vehicle, didn't go for the weak spot at all. They just tried to penetrate the side, and it was the UDES who actually was the most effective at doing that. 3,590 hit points blocked by armor. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 killed, 1,895 hit points of damage assistance. He also managed to get 88 defense points when resetting the cap. 66,073 credits for the game, 3,861 for the achievements. That's because it was a defending, or rather a drawn game on, and he managed to get at least 1 Battle Hero medal or an epic. 104,901 credits altogether. After repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables took away a profit of 36,818 credits. Now, even if this had been on a free-to-play account, he still would have made a profit, but only just. 1,117 XP, 628 for achievements, took away 2,618 experience points altogether. Now, despite the fact that he said this was a very good game, it is a good game if you look at damage, and of course damage is helpful in order to get him his 3rd mark. The fact of the matter is, I think he could have won this one if he had actually gone down the hill with the Skoda T50 and the 50 TP, and they then attacked the enemy rear. I think they would have been able to use Marky's armor as they went down. The fact that the T50 did go down the hill, but he's got no armor, that guy. All he's got is a very good gun that will shoot on well, it's an automatic gun. It's He can actually, well, technically it's a reloader, isn't it? Auto reloader. No, it's not an auto reloader, but it's a reloader. Anyway, the fact is that the Skoda could have been the firepower, whilst Marky charged into the enemy and forced the enemy to shoot directly at him. And that would, of course, allowed him to make use of his armour to bully the enemy, whilst the Skoda punched holes into their side. Yes, autoloader was the name I was looking for. That's what I'm trying to refer to. And of course, the 50 TP would have helped them out as they did go down the hill. But Marky was very reluctant to go down the hill, and I think that attack failed because Marky refused to move. And I think that was a big mistake. But then on the other side, there was the mistake by the Samur SM. Now, if he had actually gone around to that position where near the houses, near the original spawn point for a standard battle, he would have been able to shoot at the 704 and the UDES as they tried to shoot at Marky, or he would have been able to circle around the enemy and do what the UDES did to Marky and pin him in position. But unfortunately he didn't do that. He actually went up to the top of the hill, and he's got no armour. The Samur's got a great 5-shot autoloader, but I'm afraid it's got no armour, so it's very vulnerable, and he obviously was going to get killed by that 704 or the UDES. One of the two was going to get him. So big mistake by the Samur, and that made Marky vulnerable, which meant that this ended up as a draw. So yes, lost opportunities, I'd say, on this battle more than anything. He says it's a very good game. I'd say it's a lost opportunity. Marky could have won it by going down the hill, and the Samur could have won it for them if he'd have gone round the outside and caught that UDES or the 704 by using his 5-shot autoloader from a distance whilst they were trying to shoot at Marky. So there you go. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And please do remember we've got a second channel called The General. I'll leave a description or link in the description, and that's got great replays with no commentary. Thanks for watching.